referring to training, sometimes also called onboarding or the orientation process. This refers to the practices and different things that a company or organization goes through to bring on a new person and get them up to speed so they can be a productive employee. Now, each employee has different levels of needs. You're a pharmacist versus technician versus cashier, but also individuals themselves sometimes have different needs and different experiences. You may hire a technician with several years of training and experience versus a brand new person that's new to the field of pharmacy with just got their certification or what have you. So there's definitely different levels of needs for each employee. However, all employees, regardless of the need or where their needs are, will require some level of basic company policy training, because each pharmacy typically does things a little bit differently. From chain to chain or hospital to hospital. So there's going to be some level of just basic company stuff that will have to be done. And pharmacies have a few more training requirements compared to other businesses in order to meet legal and regulatory guidelines. So I think given, especially you bring in someone who's a brand new to pharmacy in general, there's definitely a lot more to get caught up on. Again, HIPAA, privacy training, controlled substances, fraud, waste, and abuse. There's several, pharmacy-specific or healthcare-specific trainings that can take quite a bit of time. Standard operating procedures, or the SOP. Each pharmacy should have a standard operating procedure. Now, the one challenge is that some pharmacies don't have standard operating procedures formalized. So imagine joining a independent pharmacy that they kind of do things their own way, and but yet it's not written down. It's kind of like the owner is the only one that knows everything how they wants to do it, and it sometimes changes depending on what's going on, and but nothing's really written down in a manual or a book or as an actual SOP. But I would really urge if you do work in a pharmacy that doesn't have some type of standard operating procedures, to discuss what it would take to create one. Having a set of standards or a set of a document, and again, this isn't a document that never gets changed. It's definitely an evolving document, but having a set of operating procedures that everyone follows can be quite valuable to a pharmacy and for pharmacy operations. Now, some practices may be pretty universal, especially in community pharmacy. A good example may be the way that we either double count or have some type of second type of check on controlled substances when we're preparing controlled substance. That seems to be pretty universal, but but many pharmacies still have their own individual processes. Some pharmacies will have two different individuals count the same medication versus one person counting it twice, or what have you. And SOPs may actually be corporate wide. So if you have like a large chain, you may have SOPs that every Walgreens or every CVS follows, and that may be more likely than I doubt a Walgreens pharmacy, that you're going to see different SOPs from Walgreens to Walgreens, because they work really hard to standardize the process across the chain, allowing for employees to move to each location and operate pretty smoothly. It's something that, again, from a training process and from a training standpoint, having a set of standards allows you to really, especially if you have multiple locations, you can train them at any location, and they're ready to go from day one whenever they go in. So this is going to be your main go-to. And with SOPs, you want to be as detailed as possible. From screenshots of where you log in and what buttons you click on the computer screen to just basic things like clocking in procedures or what have you. So again, they allow you to standardize training and kind of formalize it for new hires. So you can maybe have like a checklist of, okay, these are the things we have to cover. Uh, you may have opportunities to do some one-on-one training with a new employee, but really it's not feasible for every organization. Imagine, again, why are you hiring that new person? There's a good chance that you're short-staffed. So having an SOP that allows the technician to maybe do some self-study, or allows the new hire to work on their own with their training manual, will allow you to, maybe ask them questions or let them ask you questions and work with them, but while you're working, kind of like on the job training while you're going through it. But yeah, one-on-one training is definitely something that you want to include in if you can, but it's really tough during staffing shortfalls. It's really tough when you're slammed, with the business itself, especially if you're short. And having a checklist of all necessary training for a new hire allows you to kind of keep up with, okay, did you cover everything necessary? And this is really important from an HR standpoint for that window when you hire someone new. Not every hire you make is going to be a great one. Sometimes you're going to hire someone who's just not going to work out and just not going to be fit for the pharmacy. And if you don't train them appropriately, and then you decide to let them go in their, in their trial period, there's, it's definitely not fair to that employee if you didn't give them an opportunity to learn. So you give them an opportunity to learn. You go through the checklist, make sure everything's been met on the checklist in a short period of time during their training time, and then during that probationary period, that period where they're still kind of testing you out and you're testing them out before, and typically in that probationary period, the manager has some time where you can let an employee go right off the bat if you know they're just not going to be a fit. So imagine if you've gone through a checklist with an employee, you've covered the training very well, and 2 months into it, they're still not getting it. They're still screwing up, on dispensing or data entry steps, or they're still giving patients the wrong meds, or they're still doing things that you've went over multiple times. You've got to document that you've gone over it, document when you've gone over it, and then make sure they even sign off that, yes, I understand what I've been trained. And this really gives you the kind of the support that HR wants to see if they are going to make the decision to let someone go. And I think that's a more appropriate way to handle employees in an organization. You document.